Hello, I'm David Tong and I run a company based in London called The Division. We're a design company and we do a lot of work with companies in Japan as well as elsewhere.
And what has been your experience, David, of collaboration both before and after this coronavirus situation?
I think largely, so as we're based in London and many of our clients are overseas, we've sort of permanently been collaborating remotely. I would say the big difference though is that after the COVID situation, that people are just taking this, the issue of collaboration much more seriously. So where we might have used it occasionally, almost as an interesting thing to do, now companies are much more interested in, okay, how can we make this work, because it seems to be something which will be with us for some time.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to have a big long-term impact on the way we work and
yes.
corporate culture. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And also a lot of opportunities at the same time, I think. I think that's one of the things that people are realizing. Okay, there are challenges, but actually there's a lot of really interesting opportunities for both the way we work and for individuals' life, day-to-day life. Mm-hmm.
If you were to summarize maybe one advantage and one disadvantage of this new the remote collaboration way of working,
I think for people to, I suppose one of the big ones, speaking from a Western viewpoint, might be to rethink your relationship with work, how you do work, what part, what part work is in your life, your life as an overall. And I think in some way to put the emphasis on people and their skills, if you're working with a company, quite often it tends to be how big is that company, how old are they, how big is their premises, all of these kind of things. Whereas I think this new form of collaboration is much more about the people, the skill sets, what they have to offer, their wisdom or lack of. So I think that's a really nice thing about the new experience, from my viewpoint.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Luke, should we move to you? Let us know who you are.
Okay. I am Luke Sturgeon. I am based now and for the majority of my time in the UK, but I've been working with kind of clients all around the world for many, many years now. Focused on interaction design, user experience design as a designer, and then later as a consultant. And then up until recently, moving a bit away from freelance to my own studio. So that is a remote studio, and so that's been forcing me to ask a lot of the questions that everyone's asking today, which is it's nice now to have other people to talk about those things with. Not figure it out myself.
What was the learning curve in starting a remote studio? What did that mean for you?
The biggest challenge we had was getting on the same page to begin with. So working remotely, and you can go off and do your own thing. You don't always have those moments where you can just sit for 20 minutes and just chat, and do that repeatedly until you get a sense of that person. That takes a much, much longer time. So becoming a team took a long time. I'm talking a year to be a really fantastic team, a few months to kind of be functioning.
And what do you think, a lot of companies are now adopting tools and practices for collaboration. What do you think are the pitfalls that they should be wary of as they start to learn about how to run remote collaboration?
I think the biggest challenge can be tool and software overload. Feeling like firstly, there's 50, 60 tools and you need to know of all of them. And then you need to know how they work and their differences. And sometimes you then offload that work to your staff when actually you only need one or two. And so being able to filter quickly is more useful. I think that's the biggest challenge. It's like there's 10 ways to chat, 10 ways to video call, 10 ways to track work, 10 ways to do design work. That's overwhelming at the moment.
So companies need to focus on a smaller number of tools that they can do well rather than having too many tools, perhaps.
I think figure out what they need as a team and then quickly find a tool that fits that, rather than going tool first and then having to change their company culture to fit around that tool, because once you start using a different tool, you've then got to change again. So they need to figure out who they are.
Great. And what would you say, from your perspective or from a company perspective, what's the biggest opportunity that companies have from moving to more remote work?
I do think the life-work balance is, and I use it life-work intentionally to put life at the forefront. But the life-work balance, I think, can be better now, but I also think it's harder to do. It can be better, but it's harder to figure out at this moment. That's a challenge. I think it can feel overwhelming, but really it's a case of trying to draw together a picture of what does good, easy, comfortable, productive work look like, and then how do we quickly do it? We need this and this. Great, let's implement it. And it's actually a smaller task when you break it down, but sometimes you need some help kind of seeing through the noise to find those things.
Thank you. Well, I'm really looking forward to running this session with you in August and sharing your insights with the Japanese people who want to learn about remote collaboration. So really looking forward to it.
Me too.